34 up in here. Today we're going to be talking about artificial flavoring. So like I go to the gym about like 5-6 days a week, and every time I go in there, I always like wander over to the supplements they have above the counter. And every now and then, when I didn't have enough coffee that day, I look at the fridge and I look at the energy drinks and I'm like, oh, those look good. Some of them look really healthy. But what I noticed is, whenever I'm curious, I ask some of the people there to that work there to give me some of it to at least look at the nutrition labels. And every time I look at them, it's full of artificial crap. It's full of sucralose and a bunch of other chemicals you can't even really explain. So what really pisses me off is that, you go to the gym, you look at, what's behind the counter, and you think that it's healthy, you think that it's going to be good for you because it's a gym. Like, you're there to go to the gym, to get better. So naturally, already, like, the customer and the clientele is going to look and say, oh, like, this is probably healthy because it's in a gym. It's not. What also bothers me is there's a lot of natural supplement companies out there that they pretend that their product is healthy, but it's really not. I'm going to cover two of such products that I saw in my gym that are really concerning. The first product is a line of protein powders and pre-workouts that are marketed as healthy, as all natural, genuine production, all these things. And when you look at the back, one of the first ingredients is sucralose. Sucralose is incredibly dangerous. It's typically found in Splenda. It's an artificial sweetener, and it's used by people that are trying to avoid real sugar, so that way weight loss could be more manageable, and it's also used by those that have diabetes. So these sugar substitutes are, for some people it helps them lose weight, for others it doesn't. The science, at least generally what I believe from what I've seen in studies, is that sucralose does not help lose weight. In fact, it adds weight, as it's an artificial sweetener. It's not really good for you. It does some like chemical reaction where it holds weight. If you stop drinking soda, you're going to lose a lot of weight. It's just, soda has sucralose in it. It doesn't have real sugar in it. Sucralose also, it's very bad for the gut. So some people use it because they're like, oh, like, I have this so I could count calories and all this stuff. But really what it does, sucralose is a contaminant for your gut. And what it does is it cuts the healthy bacteria in your gut by half. So now you have all this bad bacteria, coming in and taking over your gut, creating, we have a massive gut problem in this country. Gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, as it's commonly called. There's also leaky gut, which is GERD, IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, and Crohn's. All these other like gut disorders, a lot of them are agitated and brought on by, or exacerbated by, the ingestion of sucralose, which is found in a vast majority of not only workout products like pre-workout and protein shakes, but also in prepackaged foods, ready-made meals, desserts, chewing gum, toothpaste, drinks, cakes, whatever you want, anything. If you get a rum and Coke, that's got sucralose in it because it's Coke. And you got to look at the rum you're ordering too, because even some alcohols have sucralose in it. So sucralose is really injected in every single food imaginable. It's a very, very difficult thing to avoid. And it's harmful. A lot of people say, oh, it can't cause cancer. Like, there's some studies out there that says it doesn't cause cancer, and that after animal testing, there's no evidence that carcinogens or all these other things are found in it. But what they don't understand is that gut health is the key to the rest of your body's health. And I only know this because I've suffered from gut problems for quite some time, and I'm finally seeing the end of the tunnel with it, because I've made a lot of diet adjustments and a lot of lifestyle adjustments. When it comes to the ingestion of sucralose, and it's cutting all that good bacteria helps eliminate bad bacteria, which causes gastroesophageal reflux disease, IBS, and all these other diseases that permanently, not permanently, but they quite frequently irritate the stomach, the upper and lower intestine, as well as the esophagus. Now, the esophagus, for GERD, for example, in my experience, because that's what I had, GERD is when the sphincter between your stomach and your esophagus is relaxed. So food continues to come up and down, and it's in the form of stomach acid. So it rips up your esophageal lining because esophageal lining is not as dense or sturdy as stomach lining. So what happens is the more it gets irritated, it creates these little cuts in your esophagus over time. And what ends up happening is it creates bleeding. And then when it bleeds, it needs to heal. So that creates ulcers. I had a pre-ulcer. So things were one step before, getting bad. Okay? So in ulcers, it's basically like a scar. Like a scar, and then it heals, and then it goes away eventually. If you get your stuff together, and you stop the irritation. A lot of people don't stop the irritation. So what sucralose does is it erodes it because of all this bad gut bacteria. It infests your digestive system, and it puts all this bad bacteria, and it can eat away at core elements of your stomach, and it in your muscles that control that sphincter. So it could shoot. You could get GERD from it. You can get IBS from it. You can get Crohn's from it. You're more likely to get IBS from sucralose because it really messes with your intestinal bacterial and your stomach bacteria to a degree. So you'll most likely get IBS, which is instead of GERD, where it's the esophageal reflux disease, it's IBS, which is irritable bowel. So your bowels are inflamed. Your anal cavity is inflamed. Your lower intestine is inflamed. Your upper intestine is inflamed. And that causes ulcering, and all this other shit. So sucralose, because you're cutting out the good bacteria, which fights off that bad bacteria, it could lead to cancer. So here's what I mean. So basically, when you have all this irritation, like with GERD, right? Like that irritation I was describing, that inevitably can become Barrett's esophagus and then esophageal cancer. And then you're kind of fucked for the rest of your life. I'm going to be very honest with you. Like the things you have to do to your body to even ingest food is barbaric and horrible at that point. And the same thing goes for, IBS getting to an extreme where you'll have Crohn's disease or, stomach cancer. Well, you could get stomach cancer from sucralose too, but intestinal cancer, anal cancer in some cases, depending on how severe it is. Once you get a cancer there, and that's from sucralose, that's from the lack of good bacteria. So while sucralose, the chemical agent, does not cause cancer because it's not a carcinogen or any other cancer-causing agent, the chemical interaction with the human body in the gut biome can cause cancer. If you cut out foods with sucralose, you will cut out a big chance of you getting cancer. So, how do you look for sucralose, right? Well, read your nutrition labels. So back to the gym, right? So I'm in the gym, and I really just wanted like an energy drink. I'm not a fan of them. I'm mostly a coffee guy, but I was really tired, and I just wanted to get my lift done. So I was like, all right, let me see one of these energy drinks. I'm like, do you have anything healthy? And they're like, all right, look for like one of the healthier ones. They were very upfront. They're like, there's nothing really healthy here. I'm going to be honest with you. So I was like, all right, well, the healthiest one you got. So I looked at it, and literally, I swear to God, the third or fourth ingredient was sucralose. Now, for those of you that don't know, the higher up in the nutrition box an ingredient is, the more of that ingredient there is. So if you get something where it's like water, artificial flavoring, sucralose, then that means these three things comprise like 75% of the product you're consuming. So there's a very high chance. Now, if sucralose is on the low end, it's a small amount, but you want to avoid any type of sucralose because even a small amount can cause a lot of long-term damage. So you want to avoid it completely if it's anywhere on the label. It was, and I couldn't believe that, the sucralose that was in there. Then I was like, there's a protein shake where it looked like a juice, but it had protein. It's isoprotein. Isoprotein, yes. I looked at isoprotein, it has sucralose in it. It's like the sixth ingredient. I was like, this is no good. This is so bad for you. I looked at there was this guy, he goes to my gym, and he has a company. So I looked at his protein powder, and his protein powder had sucralose in it. There's no need for everything to be sweet, let alone everything to have sucralose in it. I mean, I've seen like, French fries have sucralose in it. It's like, what is this? It's a very dangerous road that we're playing with our food, but it can be avoided. Not everything has sucralose. So like for my gym rats, if y'all are gonna have protein, make sure the protein powder is just whey protein powder, like just strictly whey. If it has any additives in it, just throw it out. It's not good. Just have like the straight whey powder and flavor it with like strawberries and bananas and real food. But honestly, the way that I've been seeing progress, and like, actually, I haven't really lost any progress. Maybe my bench lost a couple of reps, but I'm still able to push the same weight. What really, really, and you know what I did? You know how this all happened? I just ate my body weight in food. So, like, a lot of people are conditioned to be like, oh, I just need a protein shake after the gym without understanding the science behind it. So the science behind it is yes, you should be eating protein after the gym. Absolutely. But throughout the day, you need to have your body weight in protein if your aim is to grow muscle. So if you're going to build muscle mass, right? That's your goal at the gym, then you need to eat the amount you weigh in the morning after you pee, you poop, you do all that, weigh yourself, and then that's the number that you need to get in protein for the day to satisfy your muscle growth. And you need to keep doing that to keep up with the growth that you're doing. Now, if you're just trying to maintain where you're at, you're not really trying to grow additional muscle, then just stay at that consumption level for the day and you'll be good. Or if your goal is not to build muscle and tone and all that, then you don't need to worry about protein as much. That's a realm where if it's not building muscle and it's weight loss and all that, that's a realm I'm kind of outside of, so I can't really give too much advice about that. But what I have seen is that when I eat my protein in food, real food that doesn't have sucralose, or enriched products, that's another one too that's really bad, can possibly cause cancer and does fuck with your gut. Enriched wheat, very bad for you. So I don't eat anything that has enriched this, sucralose in it, none of that stuff. And it's relatively affordable still too. It's not, you're not going to get a loaf of bread that, isn't enriched for $1, but you'll maybe get it for $2.53. Personally, I'd rather like cut costs wherever I can to have good food, because eventually if you keep eating garbage food with enriched or sucralose products in it, you're going to pay all the money you thought you were saving at the grocery store back in medical bills. And we all know that we don't have healthcare in the United States, so we really can't afford to fuck around with it. Honestly, food's the best medicine. So, and you can get food that's decent for you and not full of shit very cheaply. You can go to Lidl, you can go to Aldi, you can go to Trader Joe's is actually pretty expensive. You can go to the farmers markets. There's farmers markets, especially in the spring, summertime, farmers markets all the time. Definitely hit those up. You just got to make sure you don't have the preservatives in it. It's really bad for you. Another such product, and I never thought I would see knockoff sea moss before, but I literally there's another company in my gym. It's called Moss Boss, and I looked at it, and they gave it to me for free about a year ago, and I literally scooped it, and I was like, let me try this about a year ago, right? So I'm doing this for about a year, and I only did it twice. I'm sorry, I only did it twice for the year. Excuse me, I'm pretty hungry right now. So I put it away in the fridge. I was like, you know what? Let me make this a science experiment. I'm going to open this in a year and just see what happens. Ends up getting pushed to the back of the fridge. Totally forget about it. It didn't even really taste like good. Like, it didn't even do what they said it would do. They said it would dissolve in coffee and tea and all that, and it would just be like, it didn't. It was just chunks. So I was like, what the fuck? So whatever. I let it. They're like, oh, throw it out in 2 to 4 weeks. It'll go bad. It's all natural. Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. Open it up a year later. The only thing that I could say about this is that it did smell a little rank at first when I opened it, but other than that, like there wasn't really any visible signs of it getting gross. There was outside of like a little brownish black speck, maybe two in the gel. I couldn't really see anything that would indicate that it went bad. So, and there's no nutrition facts on the back of it. So my feeling is that this product is not as natural as it's said to be. Now, I could be totally wrong, but I did send a video of me opening it and describing what I was seeing to to a friend of mine that does consume all different types of sea moss on a regular basis, and he was like, "Yeah, that's definitely full of preservatives." I do have a video of it, which I wish I could play right now, but I will consider sharing that on my social medias very soon. It's Backpacking America on all platforms. But yeah, I mean, it's very concerning too, because a lot of these supplement companies, a lot of these health food companies have a bunch of preservatives in it that defeats the purpose of taking the natural supplement. The entire purpose of the natural supplement is to combat big pharma. It's to combat the unhealthy food industry. It's to combat the poor dietary restrictions placed on American people. A lot of people forget too that, like, there are also other alternatives. Yes, looking at the price is important, but like, for example, grass-fed beef, right? That's such a healthier cut of beef because it's fed with grass. It's a cleaner beef. Like, I had some grass-fed beef, and it was like, it didn't even feel like I ate beef. It just felt so good in my gut. Like, I was like happy. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Because usually when I eat dinner and I'm placed in front of me a plate of red meat, I have to prepare myself. I'm like, oh man, I'm definitely gonna have to run to the bathroom after this. But that I didn't have to. In fact, I didn't even have to go to the bathroom the entire day after I ate that. And it was only $1 more a pound than the other red meat that we usually get, the regular red meat that's fed with corn and all this other shit. So, I got a better cut of beef that made me feel better for $1 more than it would cost for something else. I'd much rather do that and spend the money on a $9 package of beef as opposed to an $8 package of beef, and then save myself $50 a month in omeprazole, just by spending, the $9 on the good food. I'd rather spend the money on the good food. I'd rather not have Spotify or YouTube or cable if it means, I have to buy more expensive food to survive, which is another thing. That's like another thing about the whole American psyche thing that, like, I don't understand. Like, everyone's got Spotify. They pay for, like, Discord, they pay for fucking, all this other bullshit. And I'm not saying that we can't have fun or that, fun bad. For me, my guilty pleasure, I like to, splurge on experiences. So, like, I like to go on vacation. I like to go out and do things and experience meals and go out in public and be around people. So that's my thing. But if it meant, like, all right, bro, you gotta, like, because I still live at home with my parents, so, like, it's kind of like on easy mode right now, right? But, like, if I had to go out in the real world and it was like, yeah, bro, like, you can't go out like 3 times a week, and you can go out like twice a month. I'm like, all right, bet. If that means, I could afford eating good food in place of that, and then I had to get rid of my Spotify. I already got rid of my Xbox Live. I was like, fuck that. But if I have to start making cuts here and there, man, like, to eat good food so I don't, get sick and then my gut problems come back, yeah, man, I would do it. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, I would just have to, if I wanted those other things, I'm like, I got to figure out ways to make more money. You know what I mean? It's really coming down to how can I make more money and survive. And the thing is like, if we do it on the cheap way and the cheap and quick way, it's going to bite us in the ass. It's like the people that used to eat fast food, right? A lot of people stopped eating fast food because they realized that, it's like during the inflation, right? When inflation hit us in 2020, 2021, everyone was like, wait a minute. I could spend $30 on a meal at McDonald's, or I could spend $30 at the diner and get a better quality food. Because now it's all the same price or comparable. Like, For me, if I was to, like, I went to Taco Bell the other day, right? I got their grilled cheese burrito and their Fiesta fries. Came out to maybe like $11 or $12, and I was like, damn, like I could have went to the bodega and spent 18 and got a fat plate stacked up with like steak, rice, beans, and plantains, and got a water too, and it would be a big ass water, and I'd feel, it's just better quality food. Or like, I could go to the diner and spend 20 bucks and get like a real meal, as opposed to like the $12, thing that's going to make me feel like shit. Or if you really want to be big brain about it, like I know a lot of people, like they get off work, like, for me, like my shift started like right before lunchtime, right? When I used to work at LA News Radio. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to have to pack lunch every day. Now, there's sometimes I just went out to a diner or I grabbed something quick, but a lot of people, I feel, rely too much on spending money every day at McDonald's or Taco Bell or whatever, when you could just save so much more money preparing food on your own. Like the money you'd spend in DoorDash and like doing these quick meals, you could just like meal prep and just be like, all right, like, the day you get home, it's like, all right, like I'll make lunch for tomorrow morning and then just throw it in my bag. And it's not even anything crazy. It's like a sandwich. I didn't have like the healthiest lunch. I'd have like salami and provolone, and I'd put it on some Dave's bread, bro. That bread's expensive. You don't gotta get Dave's bread, but I fuck with Dave's bread. I'll spend the money on that. So like Dave's bread, and then like I have like these organic fucking cheese doodles, and they genuinely are organic, but it's still not like the healthiest thing in the world. And that's what I would do. But guess what? That's cheaper than going to Taco Bell every day, buying that loaf of bread, and then like 2 or 3 containers of salami, and then some things of provolone. It's about like, it's gonna save you at least like $20-$30 a month. And that's like balling out too. If you just get Arnold's bread, it's like $3.50 I think for a loaf, and it's still like healthy bread. And then you just get like the store brand like cold cuts and shit, and you're good. There's not really any preservatives in the store brand cold cuts. Still though, like definitely look. I know at the actual deli section you're safe, but like if you're gonna get like the plastic things like I usually do, always flip over the nutrition facts. Target, for me, like I go to Target to get the salami packages. Those are pretty good. Same thing with their cheeses, but you definitely want to try to avoid preservatives as much as possible, and that's like a healthier way to do it. But meal prepping, because then you're just like exposing yourself to like fast food and shit. It's kind of gross, but there's like an over reliance on it. I mean, fast food's nice every once in a while, but it's just too like, when it's all the time, it's just not valid, bro. Like it's not helping you out. Don't get me wrong, like I love my Taco Bell, my Burger King, I love all that shit, but like just got to be careful. Other than that, man, like sucralose is just the biggest thing you got to worry about. Always read your nutrition facts, and don't be afraid to look for a healthier alternative, because you'll be surprised at like how cheap some of them can actually be, or like maybe they're like $1 or $2 more, but it's like absolutely worth it to like pay the extra 10 or 20 bucks on the grocery bill, and then maybe like, I don't know, not have a Spotify account. But that's just me. That's like what I would do. I'm not in anyone else's situation, so like I'm just saying, like I have a mission where it's like, my thought process is I would rather spend money first and foremost on good food than like anything else. So just because like I know what it feels like to feel like shit every day from eating garbage. So like really cleaning up your diet is so important. And like I said, there's cheaper ways to do it. Plant-based proteins are very affordable. A fucking 3 pounds of chickpeas is not that bad. Lettuce, tomatoes, those are good. And then really maybe having like, you want to have like obviously protein in your diet, but maybe having 2 red meat meals and then like 1 or 2 chicken meals, a week, and then the rest substituting it with plant protein, or maybe getting like very cheap fish That's a good way to do it too. That way you have like a nice balance between plant and meat. And then also, now eggs are kind of going down again. So like, eggs are on the table too. There's a lot of cheap ways to eat really clean, good food. You don't have to ball out and buy Dave's bread or fucking, you don't have to go and buy the super expensive kale juice, which is probably full of, see, that's the thing too. It's probably full of sucralose and other preservatives. A good rule of thumb for all of this too, if you're going to go to the grocery store, good rule of thumb is if you look on the nutrition facts and you see something you can't pronounce or you don't know what it is, don't buy it. Just don't buy it because it's probably garbage. Like dexamethasone, like what the fuck is that? Like, no, it's like if it says like sugar, wheat, and water, or like, I don't know, like carrot, water, beans, then like you're fine. But if it's literally like a list, like a long fucking list, and it gets into like the scientific names and stuff, that's a chemical. It's not like a real food product. Real food products will just tell you what it is, like brown rice, right? It'll be like brown rice. That will be like the main ingredient, the only ingredients, brown rice. That's what you want to get. You don't want to get the thing with the essay of ingredients, because that's how genetically modified food is what you're consuming. So everyone just stay safe. Don't just blindly trust like a corporation or a gym or whatever, or a health food company to like be actually healthy. Look at the nutrition facts, because at the end of the day, they have a market to cater to, and they have a mission to sell as much of that shit as possible. So if they can't if you look at it, point it out to them, be like, yo, this is like not healthy for you at all. This is false advertising. Like, that is illegal. At least I'm pretty sure. But, I'm not a lawyer, so don't use me for legal advice. I don't want to get sued. But, definitely just be careful. Definitely press people on it and be like, yo, why is this here? Like, this is not healthy. Like, and people will think it's healthy, man, because it says, oh, health food bar. It's not. Anyway, just a little promo. If you want to get this hoodie, it's this one right here. It's a Backpacking America hoodie. I do still have my website up, my Threadless shop, so definitely cop a hoodie or a t-shirt. Got some mugs and other stuff too. And show your love. Definitely like this, share this, and let me know what you think.